One of the things that a good leader does is listen to opposing viewpoints. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. And today, I'm going to practice what I preach. You know, you keep hearing from me about my viewpoint and so on. And one of the things you want to do is you want to listen to people, especially when they are responsible spokespeople. And one of my buddies, good buddies that I've known the family for years and years and years and years, way back even to when I was in the 7th or 8th grade. So someone that I trust, someone that I admire, and he has been watching some of the videos, watching the one that we're going to talk about is the phone call to Dr. Tony Fauci, right? I recommended that they also have some additional spokespeople to try and sell everybody, especially the younger people that are going to the beaches that are not practicing social distancing, using Tom Hanks, using Bill Gates as an example. And my friend's name is Keith, and under the heading of being fair, I'm going to read to you what he wrote to me in an email. I'm going to read to you my response, and also to be fair, I'm going to give Keith the last word. So here is Keith. Tom Hanks is really not either Mr. Rogers or Forrest Gump. And Bill Gates appealed to us in 2015 to prepare for pandemic. No one listened. If we don't listen to Fauci, it may be that he's been reticent to subscribe to the use of whatever that drug is, as a therapeutic against what so many doctors would and are doing. Look, these are uncharted waters. It would be great to take the full course of time to kill this virus. 3 months, 6 months. Are offices more dangerous than supermarkets and liquor stores? That's the drift of our leaders. So what will be the long-term effects of this economy's shutdown? The unemployment, the rise in alcohol use, thus leading to spousal and child abuse, destitution, poverty, suicide. These are not rhetorical questions. History will record what we do. The WHO is politically corrupted by China. That organization could have flattened the curve by nipping this in the bud. But too many of the principles are beholden, unsettling, but true. China has lied. To save face, they've let our people and economy die. Your next call should be to Xi or Dr. Ai Fen if you can find her. She spoke up as head of the Wuhan virus about the Xi regime not taking action to warn the citizenry of Wuhan, China, and the world of this plague. She is now, quote unquote, disappeared. Not agreeing with Trump has taken on the profile of a blood sport. His sanguine outlook is fodder for every mainstream anchor bashing his every action. Uncharted waters, no GPS, no latitude, no longitude, no North Star. Second guessing the captain and navigators seems less useful than political. Charge, but wear a mask and stay safe. All right, that was from Keith. And so I responded to Keith, and I took some time to do it. I wanted to be thoughtful because Keith obviously took some time. Here's my response, and then once again, I will let Keith give Keith the final word. Good morning, Keith. Wow. Thank you for taking the time to think and to pen your thoughts in succinct detail. May I respond? You see, Mom always taught me that silence means consent. Now first, the purpose of employing either Mr. Hanks or Mr. Gates is simply marketing. What is being marketed? Selling the problem, sharing the vision, and selling the dream of a solution. In today's instant everything world, it has become common practice to seek a quote-unquote pill that will solve everything on an immediate basis. It's in the figurative sense, that is sometimes the case. Examples of this phenomenon include overnight or same-day delivery. Another illustration would be binge watching. Why should I have to wait until next week to watch my favorite show, for example? Is this not the present culture/posture of America today? Second, in the literal sense of a pill that will solve everything, history tells us that side effects may occur. Do I agree that in desperate times the quote-unquote what have I got to lose posture is prudent? Of course. In a life or death scenario, I would travel to Mexico, for example, to put my hands on a drug that the FDA hasn't approved, but that showed a small modicum of hope. Desperation increases options exponentially. I would not, however, embrace quote-unquote desperado strategy as a preventative course and make it a standard practice. Just as the cure may be more painful than the disease, the side effects may also be more harmful than the cure. The most current effective North Star is South Korea. That's why I suggest modeling them while attempting to find other solutions. The reason I suggested Hanks and Gates is because times have clearly changed. Hanks has the virus, is highly admired, and his words would carry some weight with a segment of society that has apathetic tendencies in many cases. Perhaps they would hear his public service announcement while they were at the beach on vacay. As to Mr. Gates, the fact that he predicted a pandemic would only add credibility to his Nostradamus persona in the minds of many. He too would be an effective shepherd to lead the masses of the uncertain to a winning destination. You point out the long-term effects of an economic shutdown would include, quote, the rise in alcohol use, thus leading to spousal and child abuse, destitution, poverty, suicide, unquote. Future potential problems all. That may all have to be dealt with, but my response is, what about the massive death on an immediate basis? When you seek to find a specific solution, it is prudent to attack the problem from as many different paradigms and angles that you can. One method is to only go for the grand slam. The other method is to consistently get on base with singles, walks, and bunts. Doesn't our favorite team, the Red Sox, employ both methods? So, I will continue to wear a mask. It'll raise my batting average. I will also hope that the cleanup hitter will hit the long ball, an instant game changer, and secure victory. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. As to the blood sport, which by the way is one of my favorite movies, of harpooning Trump, hasn't he brought that upon himself? Is he not the Chong Li of this thing? By the way, he constantly flexes his breasts. You recognize that from the movie. By the way, he constantly flexes his breasts as the movie actor did at the Kumite. If you will recall, Frank Dukes, the hero, had a quiet confidence. Being a leader requires the ability to rally people around you with a charisma of personality and knowledge. Nasty bullying on national television is not galvanizing. What is needed right now is a united effort. What the, quote, Top Gun should be preaching consistently without mixed signals or messages is, stay home because we are a team. Don't ever leave your wingman. Keith, the purpose of these quote-unquote phone calls is to demonstrate proper leadership techniques using the current scenario as a platform. There have been so many leadership missteps that it behooves me to point them out and explain the proper way the job should have been executed. One positive that can be gained from this super negative scenario is to produce a, quote, not to-do list for leaders. Thank you, Mr. Trump. Now it appears, Keith, that we must agree to disagree. I urge you to continue your efforts to swing me to your perspective. You have been both graceful and thoughtful, and I will humbly try to reciprocate. And Keith's response, Eli's dad, not trying to convince you of anything, my good sir. My missive is really to point out alternative points of view and realities which you should consider, lest your point of view be seen as an anathema to 630 subscribers. Perhaps, perfect example of that blind spot is analogizing hydrochloroquine, I may have said it right or close to it, to some exotic Mexican snake oil. Rather, for those in consultation with the doctors all over the world, it has been shown nearly 100% effective. You know, you go to war with the army you have. That's called marketing. Don't lose half your audience before you start. Charge, but not into the valley of death. You should ride. And that was Keith's response, and I'll leave it at that. And because we will never end a meeting on my or Keith's philosophical note, let's get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.